Now, let's have a look at Meghan Markle being weird and inauthentic.
Meghan Markle arrived in Paris anticipating a storm.
Been mocked at Paris Fashion Week.
What she encountered instead was silence. A duchess at Fashion Week should have stirred excitement, yet in Balenciaga's front row, murmurs replaced applause. And those murmurs held something far more unsettling than simple criticism. Free from the outside, it seemed like her grand return. Cameras flashing, lights reflecting off her black heels, the kind of image every magazine dreams of. But those who were actually there shared a completely different story.
Was awkward. Let's have another look at it.
Stylists later shared that when Meghan walked in, the atmosphere instantly chilled. No smiles, no embraces, one of them whispered, just eyes fixed on her, judging. It wasn't the welcome of a star, it was the quiet of doubt. That contrast defined the moment, because in Paris, silence often speaks louder than words. What came next was more uncomfortable than anyone imagined. Paparazzi took their shots, but even they looked uninterested. Editors who usually rush for selfies kept their space. According to one insider, the body language said it all. No one wanted to be seen standing too close.
Of course, spent the weekend there showing plenty of behind-the-scenes content. Now, let's just take a look at the Duchess strutting for the cameras.
In an industry built on closeness, Meghan had become untouchable, not because of any tabloid scandal, but for something far simpler. Whispers backstage claimed that even being around her felt uncomfortable. It wasn't her attitude, they said, but her presence, or more specifically, her scent. Several people described the same thing. One called it a mix of cheap perfume and anxiety, while another mentioned her glam team looked drained, spraying anything they could to mask it. "You can fix makeup," someone joked, "but you can't fix that." Whether exaggerated or not, the rumors spread quickly. By the end of the night, people weren't talking about Balenciaga's designs. They were talking about Meghan. In Paris, scandal can be forgiven, arrogance can even be admired, but poor hygiene is social death. And if the scent rumor was harsh, the outfit detail was worse. In fashion, clothing speaks louder than words, and insiders revealed her outfit wasn't gifted but borrowed. Tags still on, no tailoring, nothing custom. It was a subtle yet stinging message. She wasn't part of the inner circle. Top celebrities usually receive couture pieces for free because brands crave their aura. Meghan's apparently didn't qualify. Everything had to be returned. One stylist murmured, "Balenciaga didn't honor her. They simply endured her." That backstage truth clashed with the image Meghan tried to show. Chin up, smiling confidently as if she ruled the city. But insiders insisted Paris wasn't fooled. The glamorous Duchess wasn't being celebrated as an icon. She was being treated as a temporary guest. And in the sharp-eyed world of fashion, that's the most devastating rejection of all.
Yeah, the children were posed with teddy bears dressed in bondage-style gear.
What?
It was predatory, and Meghan Markle is accepting an award as Humanitarian of the Year on Thursday for protecting children online. She shouldn't be promoting a brand accused of predatory.
The contrast couldn't have been more striking. Meghan hoped for a fresh start, but Paris delivered a harsh reality check. And that was only the start of the whispers trailing her from the runway to the streets. When she left the event, another rumor emerged. This time, not about perfume, but about a tunnel. A story far more chilling. After the Balenciaga show, people expected Meghan to vanish quietly into the Paris night. Yet the tale took a darker twist. Reports began circulating that she had driven through the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the very place where Princess Diana's life ended. At first, many dismissed it as coincidence, but as one fashion journalist noted, in this city, nothing happens by accident. Her team quickly insisted she hadn't realized, that she was unaware of the location's significance, and that the route was chosen simply to return to her hotel. But for those familiar with Meghan's history, the denial didn't hold up. Former acquaintances had claimed she once studied footage of Diana's funeral repeatedly, while others recalled her deep fascination with royal biographies, highlighting every detail. How could she not know? One commentator asked. This is a woman who understands symbolism, and that tunnel carries the heaviest symbol of all. Online, the reaction exploded. TikTok edits surfaced showing Meghan's car driving through the tunnel spliced with clips of Diana's final moments, all set to eerie music. On Twitter, hashtags trended, some praising her nerve, others accusing her of manipulation. "It's one thing to admire Diana," one post read. "It's another to imitate her tragedy." The response wasn't mere skepticism. It was outrage laced with disbelief, the kind of viral storm no PR team can contain. For Paris, the tunnel story hit like a cultural shockwave. This city revered Diana. For many Parisians, her memory remains sacred, and the Pont de l'Alma is no stage for theatrics. Local tabloids questioned Meghan's intentions, while international outlets cautiously speculated whether the drive was truly innocent or something more deliberate.
How are you protecting children when you are promoting a brand that was accused of inappropriate behavior towards them?
Now, look, it's not being received well, certainly not as well as maybe she would have hoped, with some people labeling it as Zoolander.
Reports began to suggest the moment might not have been accidental. One outlet wrote, "Careful not to accuse, but unwilling to dismiss." And that uncertainty only added fuel to the fire. Behind the scenes, fashion insiders started discussing the larger pattern. Why would she risk invoking such symbolism again? Why continue tying herself so tightly to Diana's legacy? One editor put it bluntly, "This isn't branding, it's obsession." To them, Meghan's Paris appearance wasn't about fashion at all. It was about rewriting Diana's story, one orchestrated moment at a time. Yet the irony was painful. Instead of earning admiration, the gesture only reminded people of a comparison she could never live up to. Loyal Diana supporters saw it as disrespectful, and comment sections overflowed with criticism. "Diana was loved. Meghan is performing," one post read. Others questioned Harry's silence. If he's moved to tears when speaking about that tunnel, how could he let her treat it like a backdrop? That single comment racked up thousands of likes. By the end of Fashion Week, Meghan's Paris trip was no longer about couture. It was about a car ride, a tunnel, and the lingering shadow of a princess she could never replace. With every whisper and every headline, the tension only deepened. Because the next revelation wasn't rumor or speculation, it was hypocrisy hiding in plain sight, one that tied Meghan directly to the same media machine she had long condemned. For years, Meghan Markle cast herself as the target of a merciless press, claiming tabloids twisted her story and that history was repeating itself with Harry as the helpless witness. She warned that cameras would destroy her the same way they destroyed Diana. But Paris uncovered a forgotten truth, the uncomfortable reality of who actually profited from Diana's final moments.
She went round Paris in this car. She had her heels kicked up, and you can see that. A lot of people criticised her because she went near the tunnel where Diana was tragically killed. I'm not sure that was deliberate, but it's a lot of people criticised.
British tabloids were often blamed. Insiders reminded people that the most haunting images of Diana's final hours weren't sold by Fleet Street. They were purchased, aired, and broadcast by the American network CBS. Yes, the same CBS that Harry and Meghan later chose for their explosive primetime interview. Commentators were quick to point out the contradiction. "How do you condemn the media for exploiting tragedy?" one analyst asked, "and then hand exclusives to the very network that profited from it?" Reports suggested that even some within Harry's inner circle questioned the decision at the time. Friends allegedly warned him that sitting down with CBS would reopen old wounds. But Meghan pushed forward. When Oprah's cameras started rolling, the same network that once turned Diana's death into ratings gold was now turning Harry and Meghan's grievances into global entertainment. For critics, it wasn't just ironic, it was blatant hypocrisy broadcast in high definition. Fans online noticed too. Reddit threads shared side-by-side screenshots of CBS coverage from the 1990s and clips from Meghan's interview. With one viral comment reading, "She blames tabloids for Diana's pain, yet partners with the company that showed her final moments. How do you justify that?" The comparison spread across social media, feeding the growing belief that Meghan's narrative of victimhood was less about truth and more about image control. Even industry insiders began to sense the shift. One Hollywood publicist told Variety, "Authenticity sells. Hypocrisy kills." To many, that CBS deal marked the moment Meghan's credibility began to erode. And in Paris, when the whispers about Diana resurfaced, whatever was left of it completely fractured.
Look, this is the same woman that tells us she's Diana 2.0. Shouldn't she be aware of something like this?
Suddenly, people weren't just questioning Meghan's fashion choices or her Paris itinerary. They were questioning her integrity. To make matters worse, reports surfaced suggesting that many of her speeches and humanitarian statements were ghost-written, and that her projects often repurposed ideas already circulating in the public space. Former staffers described her as demanding yet directionless, a leader without a clear vision. Combined with the CBS controversy, Paris made it impossible to ignore the emerging pattern: a duchess obsessed with image but careless with truth. And Paris didn't just expose that hypocrisy, it magnified it. Because when fashion houses decide who sits in the front row, they don't choose based on fame alone. They choose based on cultural influence, and the influence Paris saw in Meghan wasn't elegance, it was contradiction. That realization set the stage for what came next. If CBS symbolized hypocrisy, then the fashion world's cold shoulder represented something even more damaging: rejection from the very industry Meghan hoped would embrace her reinvention. By the third day of Paris Fashion Week, the Meghan Markle buzz had shifted entirely. It was no longer about her outfit, or even the tunnel. It was about what insiders dubbed the cold shoulder. Designers who usually compete for celebrity attention appeared to be deliberately avoiding her. One photographer remarked, "I've never seen a duchess stand alone for so long in a lobby." Those images spread like wildfire. Meghan, chin up, cameras flashing, yet no peers by her side. Social media wasted no time. Twitter and Instagram filled with side-by-side comparisons. Meghan in borrowed Balenciaga contrasted with Rihanna wrapped in couture. Zendaya embraced by Valentino, and Kim Kardashian surrounded by Balenciaga's creative team. The captions were merciless. One viral post read, "One of these women was invited." The other borrowed the invite. Memes circulated under hashtags like empty chair energy and borrowed couture. In the city of light, Paris had turned Meghan Markle into the internet's shadow,